My name's Nick Griggs. Yeah, I suppose this is the final filming of the documentary, and I'm an athlete who runs for Puma. 1,500 metres to 5,000 metres, I'm sure. If you're watching this documentary, you're probably well aware of that by now, so yeah, I don't really know how else to introduce myself, to be honest.
My name is Mark Kirk, probably best known as Nick Griggs' coach. I currently work as endurance coordinator for Athletics Northern Ireland and fairly recently retired as a dentist, which I worked for many, many years.
I'm Andy Griggs, I'm Nick's father.
Hey, I'm Ryan Griggs, I'm Nick's mum.
Yeah, so I'm Callum Morgan. I'm training partner of Nick Griggs and also an athlete myself. I'd probably predominantly be a 5K type runner. I've ran 13:44. I've broke 4th of the mile and been on a few underage Irish teams as well.
Nick was always very competitive. He always loved to prepare for any sporting event. He loved playing Gaelic, and although that was as part of a team, he loved to win and do his best and perform to the best of his ability. He was always very interested in sports, and whatever he could achieve in, it really pushed him forward.
I became his coach when his club coach, ran for a club called Mid-Ulster, and he was coached by a guy called Barry Holmes, who's been involved in athletics and done a lot of good work in the Mid-Ulster area for years. And he asked me would I be keen to take on Nick, as he felt that he was getting on in years a bit and maybe didn't have the experience to bring him on to fulfill the potential he had. So I met up with Nick and his mum in a coffee shop one day and we had a good chat and thought, yeah, he should be a good guy to work with. So that's how it all transpired. Our coach-athlete relationship has developed over the years. We do get on very well, and he's a very easy guy to coach. He listens, he understands, and he knows what our process and what we're trying to do for the future. I think he's very easy to communicate with for a guy who initially was a young teenager when he first came to me. He was very good at communication and very easy to get on with.
I've known Nick since 2021. We actually met before he joined the group. We met on an Irish trip in Estonia, where Nick actually went on to win the under-20 gold in the 3K. At that time, he was probably relatively unknown. He had done one breakthrough race that kind of got him on the scene, but you kind of felt on that trip that this was going to be someone that was going to go to the next level. Just his talent level really shone through when you finally met him. And then he joined the group 2 months later, and that's probably when we actually met as friends and kind of built a friendship, and it became training partners from that point on and got closer ever since then.
I thought he would be a good athlete because at that stage he had already won the under-20s in 2021, and so hadn't really done much sort of specific training. So I think when you saw what he did and how he ran that race, it was obvious to everyone that he was a huge talent.
I probably became aware of Nick 8 months probably before he actually came onto the scene. There was talks of a boy running mad times up in like Maherfeld area on a track on his own that seemed completely unrealistic and ridiculous. It seemed that this kid was kind of claiming he was breaking Irish records on his own in a track in the middle of nowhere. And then, yeah, it kind of came true when the following May, I think it was, he jumped in the North Belfast race into the A race and ran a completely ridiculous time and proved us all wrong.
He got himself in there and nobody knew of him or what he could achieve, and he went and finished 6th, I think it was. Suddenly this young lad at 16 years old had run a time that was pretty spectacular for that age, and that was the first time for me. I don't know about you, but that was the first time for me. I thought, yeah, he sounds like he's quite good at this and he can make a go at this.
Well, I remember when he went to Estonia, I think Athletics Ireland said to Andy, he's going for the experience, not for, there's no medal chances or anything there. And I remember Nick saying, I will get a medal. And we were like, right, okay, Nick. And then he did. Once you put that idea in his head, he did whatever he could to try and achieve that. But the gold medal in Tallinn was a surprise to me. But I realised at that point, he could make something of this, He could make a career of it. So that was at that point for me.
I think the other time for me was in Dublin when he broke the 4 minute mile. when he was just 17, I think it was. And again, I was there seeing that, and everyone was like in shock. And this 17-year-old had just broken the 4-minute mile, kind of the youngest Irishman ever and second or third ever in Europe, I think it was, and to ever break the 4-minute mile indoor. And I had no idea what was going on. I was completely stunned on the night. I had no idea, and it took a while to settle in that, yeah, crikey, that was something remarkable.
Nick's main goal for 23-24 was the European Championships.
And then obviously to make the Paris Olympics was kind of the other one. But I think the main one was just to make those European Championships.
I mean, the progress that Nick's made in those previous 3 years, I think, they were very realistic. I mean, the Olympics, I think, was always going to be a tough ask at the age that he's at, or was at last year and is still at. You know, 18, 19, trying to get into an Olympic Games, and his first Olympic Games, that was always going to be difficult.
Yeah, so the build up to the European Under-20 Champs last year in Jerusalem, I think were pretty perfect, to be fair. Like, yeah, I ran some really good times that season and improved the PBs quite significantly and kind of made that step up into a decent senior level athlete.
We realised it was going to be hot, so we sort of looked at doing some sort of heat preparation. You know, he started having hot baths, going to saunas after his runs to try and get some acclimatisation, because obviously the weather in Ireland in the summer is not too warm. So he also sort of ran all his sessions with a lot of gear on, which he found quite uncomfortable. But I think from that point of view, he adapted to the heat very well. His build-up, his training, everything was absolutely perfect. You know, we were very happy for how things went before we headed off to Jerusalem.
I was very confident and I'd ran quick. I thought I had the speed, I thought I had the strength. In the final, I had the quickest 15 PB, the quickest 5 PB, so obviously that doesn't mean anything, but I think I kind of thought, yeah, I've got the speed, I've got the strength, I can win this whatever way it plays out. So yeah, I was feeling good physically going to it, and then mentally I think I was obviously a bit more nervous than I was last time, because I kept coming in defending champ. There was quite a bit of pressure. Even if other people weren't placing on me, which I'm sure they were, yeah, I placed that pressure on yourself. And despite what external pressure people place on you, I think I kind of ignore that most of the time. It doesn't really matter to me. It's kind of more about the expectations and the pressure that I place on myself. So I really wanted to go and retain it. I thought if I can win twice in a row, it would be pretty cool, pretty historic. And yeah, gold medal for Ireland at Europeans doesn't happen too often. Like, so obviously it being a European champs, you kind of can't really get too ahead of yourself. Just gotta take it round by round, make the final. And there's obviously really class athletes at the Europeans, and the quality, not to offend anyone at the European champs in 2021, the quality was a real step above. The main one was probably Jonathan Grant, who he ran really quick over the 3K, the 15 and the 5K. So I kind of knew he was probably the main competitor, but there was other guys like Andreas, who actually won World Juniors in the summer there, who was very, very good. He ended up falling in the final, but there was a lot of guys, a lot of threats, but I'd say they were probably the main ones that I had an eye on, thinking they could be other real contenders for the gold medal.
So, 16 men on the start line for the men's 3,000 metres. There's the defending champion,
on the outside. He's the
Nick
defending
Griggs.
champion for Ireland.
It was a weird final, like it was really just a bit of a jog, and I'm sure looking back I'd probably do things a wee bit differently. But again, I was young, obviously a bit inexperienced, and I thought, you know what, I can win this about 400 out. It's when it really just turned into a last lap sprint, and I probably made the move a bit too early, kind of down the back straight, thinking I could do the same thing as I did in 2021, just burn them down the back straight and hang on for the win. But as I said, the quality had really stepped up in the last 2 years, and I probably just went too early, kind of flooded my legs with lactate a bit too much, and then going about 150 to go, I remember just my legs kind of hitting that wall and just thinking, oh no, just try and hang on. And then yeah, I just didn't have anything left in the legs, and Jonathan probably ran a bit of a smarter race, so we ended up getting the win, which was fair enough. There's nothing I could do on the day about it. Tried my best, give them all, and yeah, sometimes it just isn't your day. And looking back, there's obviously things I would have done different, but yeah, I ran the best race that I could on that day. And unfortunately for me, best race I could run was second that day, so yeah, it was a bit of a bummer at the time, but you know, everything happens for a reason, and you live and you learn, so what can you do? Yeah, I've learned from it.
I feel like Nick's definitely accustomed to the pressure now. You know, he's been under it since basically his first proper race in the scene. Obviously he raced as a schoolboy athlete, but since he really came through, you know, all he's had is pressure. You know, he's probably well used to it by now, but also there's only so much one person can take, especially at that age. And you know, when you're going on social media the night before and it's almost an expectance of Nick to just bring home gold, and as if silver's a failure and being second in Europe isn't good enough. And it probably weighed a bit on him, but I honestly think he just probably went into the race like most, thinking he would win it any way possible. But when there's a guy that's also around 3:37, that wasn't going to be the case, and unfortunately it didn't happen on the day.
I'm not a very emotional person, but there was a few tears shed just that I couldn't manage to defend the title and bring home another gold medal, because I really wanted to do that, and I'd worked so hard to do it. So we were proud that I could still come away with some sort of silverware.
Nick being Nick, you know, he sort of got himself back on track and put it behind him pretty quickly, and obviously he had the World Championships in Budapest to look forward to, so that gave him a bit of a boost. We actually heard that Nick got selected for the World Champs. Well, I heard first, but I didn't tell him until after his final, because I thought that if he knew that he was going to Budapest, at that stage it would be a bit of a distraction. In reality, he sort of knew he was in with a chance, because we had sort of done a couple of races, a couple of 1500s before we went to Jerusalem to try and get him in the quota for World Athletics. He'd run some races to try and get some points, and he was thereabouts. So we knew it was always going to be a possibility, but you never know until you actually get the word from the selectors that you're going. So he didn't find out till afterwards, which I think was probably not a bad plan in the end.
But yeah, unfortunately, as I'm sure many people are well aware, I did pick up a bit of a sickness. I don't even know when I picked it up, but it was really once I flew out to Budapest. I think it was the Thursday. I raced on the Saturday, and the Thursday I started to feel like, oh, I don't feel quite right. But I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just in my head. I'm trying to just try and ignore it. And then on Friday, I remember feeling like quite bad. And then that night, I was just like cold sweats. Like, oh, it was pretty grim. Like, I still don't know what it was. Yeah, I thought it was just so typical. Like, make your first World Seniors in really good shape, and you pick up some diabolical disease. So, look, it is what it is. I think, what can you do about it? Sometimes that's just the luck of the draw, the luck of the game, and probably was my luck towards the end of last season. So just got on with the race, because I thought, you know what, I'm here now. It's a huge opportunity, so be it. I'll just go out and run my best race, which obviously was not great on the day, but I gave it all that I had for given what had happened to me and kind of how I felt, etc. So yeah, I was glad that I was even out there competing, and I knew even if I didn't get the sickness, I knew it was going to be very, very tough to qualify for even the semi-finals with the quality of heat it was in, with eventual first and second placer Jakob and Josh Kerr. So I thought, you know what, I went out, gave him my best, and it was not great on the day, but look, it was all experience. And then like I really enjoyed being out there, looking around the crowd, huge stadium, bunch of my friends there, coach there. Our support was incredible as always. So yeah, even though I wasn't 100% firing on all cylinders, I really enjoyed it, and I think it almost, as weird as it sounds, even being sick took the pressure off even more, because I just thought, you know what can I do about it? Let me just go and see what happens. It's 3.5 minutes to run, and yeah, that's what I did, and I still enjoyed the experience as best I could.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience to watch him over in Budapest. You know, he lined up that iconic photo of him and Jakob. He lined up beside Jakob, who we've all watched since we were about 13, 14. We've almost watched Jakob grow up as well. It was such a cool experience to see him with them guys, see him with people we all idolise, and he's just competing with them, and we just see him as our friend and training partner essentially, and he's at that level and he can compete. It obviously didn't go his way that day, had a bit of a sickness, but like it was just such a cool experience to see him in a packed out stadium, and just to see the amount of people that like also are kind of almost in awe of Nick, you know, the amount of Irish fans coming up and asking for photos. He actually is a big deal in the sport, and it's just growing and growing.
You know, we talked about when he got back and what the expectations were for that. And obviously it was going to be difficult to qualify for the final with such a stacked field of proper world-class and European athletes, but I think just to be there and on the starting line alongside the likes of Ingebrigtsen, taking it all in, and I think a bit of kind of stunned incredulity on his face about I'm actually here, like we're in the big time with these fellas running at this level, with these guys that have got such an incredible pedigree and the times that they're running. So it was, again, for me, it was a proud moment, and I know it was for Nick. I mean, you could see it there. I mean, even though he didn't qualify for the final, I think it was just an achievement to be on that start line and was another kind of piece of the jigsaw in his career. That was the level that he's got to be at. That's the level he's got to aim towards. They're the kind of times he's got to get down to, and that's the kind of guys he's got to aim and dream about running with and competing against in the next few years. So to have that at that age again last year was phenomenal.
The whole atmosphere is different than some of the underage championships we've done. I think that was a good learning curve, that, you know, it is a different sort of setup.
I think the main thing is probably just, at the time, how far away I was from being that level, which is a bit of a dull thing to say, but like, you can be a good world-class, European-class junior athlete, which obviously I was at the time, but it doesn't mean you can just, unless you're a freak like a Laros or someone who's obviously outstanding, you can't just step up instantly, us mere mortals, and just be competing with the best guys in the world at 1500 meters, at 5k, whatever distance. So I think it kind of emphasized to me, like, yes, you've ran quick this year, you've ran good times for your age, but you're still a long ways off being a world medalist, a world senior athlete, and that's all obviously the ultimate goal in the end. So I think it showed me kind of how much work, how much graft I still have to put in to kind of get to those guys' levels, because they're running 3:34 in the final or in the heats easily, and running 3:34, 3:32, and then a 3:28, 3:29 final. So I think it just shows how the level disparity between a guy like me and even a guy like Ingebrigtsen, Kerr, all the other guys in the race. So yeah, showed me how much work I have to do.